Shakur Stevenson is getting whooped something nasty out in the press. And he blames Gervonta Davis. Gotta love it. But honestly, man, I'm going to tell you, I think he might be telling the truth on this one and saying that Gervonta is part of the reason why I'm getting so much pushback on his performance, on the performance that he had against Arturam Hartunian. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, but also in the streets of YouTube, where, man, it was a bloody massacre. That's all. Only thing I can say for the last 3 days. What is it? It's Thursday. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the last 5 days have to go down as the Shakur Stevenson bloodbath. Because, man, he has taken a whole lot of slack for his performance against David Artunian. I have to wonder whether or not I've ever seen anybody take that much slack for winning a fight. Not just from boxers and commentators, but also rap stars from Mase and Cameron did him real dirty. And I don't blame them. I really do blame Shakur on that. Shakur probably needs to just kind of zip his lip and be a little bit more quiet. But Shakur did say something in the midst of all of this that I thought was worth repeating, because I had said it originally and I believe that it is true. Now, before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for your continued support. It makes a huge difference to the channel. Yeah, it's Gervonta Davis's fault. And why do I say that and agree with Shakur? Because it's the performance of Gervonta Davis that I do believe has people expecting a lot out of Shakur Stevenson, expecting a lot out of Devin Haney, expecting a lot out of fighters that are not the same type of fighter as Gervonta Davis is. Now, what does Gervonta Davis give you? He gives you spectacular fights that you want to pay attention to from the beginning of the fight to the end of the fight. He does it, gives you fights that end in spectacular fashions. The number one way to end a fight in boxing is a knockout. If you're looking at trying to grow a fan base, or you're trying to look to get a highlight reel, or you're trying to make somebody feel as if they got their money's worth. And that's what you get out of Gervonta Davis, and you get that out of Gervonta Davis almost every fight. The man is gifted in that regard. Other people are not so gifted. That would include Shakur Stevenson. So when Shakur Stevenson was talking about what he was going to do to David Arturam Hartunian, saying that he was going to stop him, showing that he was going to separate this guy, his level from this, show the difference between the levels. He got some people's expectations up. But many of us that knew how Shakur Stevenson fought realized that this fight more than likely is going to go 12 rounds, but you're going to see a guy that is a master boxer, somebody that does the very subtle things that you do not notice as much as you do the dramatic things like knockouts, does those very subtle things extremely well. But that's just the type of fighter that he is. He is not a savage. He's a scientist. Again, he's not a savage. He's a scientist. However, in the boxing is more about savagery than it is the sweet science. Okay, that's just the fact of the matter. Is it science in boxing is like science in a lot of different things. The science is left best unexplained, right? There's a lot of science in the computer, right? However, you don't really care about the science behind the computer and why it works. You just care that it works. You want to see your videos. You want to watch House of the Dragon. You know what I mean? You want to hear Cam and Mase on your phone dogging out Shakur Stevenson. You don't care about the science behind it. You care about the excitement that it gives you, that the science enables you to get. And that's the problem with Shakur in this particular instance, because he's demanding a fight with one of the most exciting fighters in boxing, the guy that is really, really doing it. And people are saying, you're going to snooze up the place. You're going to snooze up the place. I don't know if I really want to see you fight. Matter of fact, I don't really want to see you fight at all. It was, I think Mase is the one that said that, like, look, man, I just don't want to see him fight. Oh my God, man, that is just so savage just to flat out say, like, oh man, I just don't want to see him fight. I mean, he's a good fighter and all of that, but I just don't want to see it. Man, that is a really, really rough reaction. Now, what can Shakur Stevenson do about it? Absolutely nothing is what he can do about it. Absolutely nothing. Hey, man, there's point guards in the NBA that are great players. They go to the Hall of Fame. You're not going to see them whipping out 360-degree dunks over the top of 7-footers. You know what I mean? You're not going to see that out of Drew Gooden. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, I think that was the name of the player, Drew Gooden. What's the guy? I was looking for the guy who's the guard for the Celtics. You're just not going to see. You're not going to really see that out of certain types of fighters. You're not, certain types of basketball players. You're not going to see that out of Chris Paul, right? But doesn't mean that he's not a part of the team that's going to be very valuable. And that is what Shakur Stevenson is in the WBC, in the championship picture of the lightweight division. He's there. He's a fixture. He's a fixture in it until somebody beats him. If somebody's able to beat him, then he can go away. But as long as he's got that WBC belt, he's in line to fight Gervonta Davis. And Artunian's a good fighter, and he beat him. And De Los Santos is a good fighter. It was a terribly boring fight, but he beat him. And the next guy Shakur Stevenson fights at that weight class, more than likely he's going to beat him too. So we cannot like it, but understand that for a while, we're going to have to lump it. You know the saying, if you don't like it, lump it. We're going to have to lump it. He's not going anywhere. And that fight with Gervonta Davis, in my personal opinion, absolutely, positively needs to happen. It needs to happen regardless of what Cam says, regardless of what Mase says, regardless of what any YouTube channel says. This kid is doing what he needs to do to give us that fight and to get that fight with Gervonta Davis. Is not, and even that fight right there is probably going to be exciting, because I just don't see a way for Shakur Stevenson to avoid the contact that's coming from Gervonta Davis. However, I also think that people have really gone overboard on Shakur and acting as if Shakur Stevenson can't fight at all, that he's not worthy of a fight. I just wish we could kind of hold off on that more than a little bit. But as far as Shakur Stevenson blaming Gervonta Davis and saying, look, man, people are more hesitant, more critical of my performance than they would be if it wasn't for Gervonta, I think you're 100% right. If everybody was going the distance at 135 pounds, nobody would care about the weight division at all, really. But they would be like, well, okay, yeah, he won. Okay, now he's going to fight. All right, we'll see who fights who. We know these are going to be 12-round fights. Yeah, that's right. He probably wouldn't get as much criticism if Gervonta Davis wasn't doing what Gervonta Davis was doing. But you know the saying, if ands and buts were candy and nuts, oh, what a party we'd have. The fact of the matter is Gervonta is doing those things. And since Gervonta Davis is doing those things, you're going to have to deal with the ramifications of people really, really getting behind him and hating everything that you got to say. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. That's my take. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.